The Orlando Magic have a golden opportunity to make this an offseason to remember. As we enter the post-Desmond Bane trade world that the Magic live in, they want to hit on this number 25 overall pick. Granted, if they keep it, who is the guy that they end up selecting? If I ask you guys straight up, which I have before, you guys will probably say Walter Clayton Jr. He's a name that has been mocked to the Magic since he had his miraculous run in March, and he's got that in-state connection. So I think a lot of NBA draft projectors or experts are having him go to the Orlando Magic. So we're going to ask a couple questions in today's video. Who exactly is he? What is his game? And will he be available at number 25? It's a different ball game now that we don't have the number 16th overall pick. But first, guys, as you know, make sure to subscribe to the channel. This is your one-stop shop for Orlando Magic basketball content here on YouTube. 71% of you guys who are watching these videos regularly are not subscribed. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Join the 29% we have built an Orlando Magic basketball community here on YouTube. So let's make it stronger. It's the easiest and best way to help out the channel. Okay, so as I mentioned, those are going to be the questions. How good is he? Essentially, what was he able to do? What is his game at the NBA level? And will he be available with that top pick? Let's take a look at some of his strengths, maybe more specifically his NBA projection. They got him kind of more as a combo guard, who is one of the best pure shooters in the class. Now, he's not really tall enough to be a combo guard. He's just at 6'2" without shoes. So I don't know if he could really slide to play the two. Maybe he could potentially do that, especially if you have Suggs out there on the floor. But I know a lot of you guys want Suggs to play the point guard position, and it looks like that's exactly where they're headed. But I think he could be on the floor at the same time as a guy like Anthony Black. Now, he does, he's only got a 6'4" standing reach. So some people have been projecting him as very, having shades of Jamahl Murray. He's shorter. He's a little bit smaller. They kind of just look alike in a sense. When I've seen that, I don't really know if I see their games really being the same. Now, obviously, this projection has him more closer at 6'4", 190 pounds. But we know from the NBA Draft Combine that he's a little bit shorter than that. Last year, he had 18.3 points per game, 3.7 assists per game, or 3.7 rebounds, 4.2 assists per game, 1.2 steals, half a block, 2.4 turnovers, and his shooting numbers were pretty good. And especially in the tournament, he was definitely one of the more reliable players, especially in crunch time. And I think that that's probably one of his biggest strengths and something that a lot of NBA fans really, really love to see. We just saw Tyrese Halliburton absolutely kill it in the playoffs, and the injury was one of the saddest things I've seen in sports. But he had an amazing postseason, really solidified him as one of the best players ever, or having one of the best postseason runs ever potentially. And it was mainly because of the way that he was able to close out games. So it's really positive. You're going to get a guy who's got a reputation of that in the NBA draft as a rookie. I think that's really cool. He had 87.5% from the free throw line, got to the line, 3.5 times per game. So nothing too crazy, but 38.6% from three. We love that. We need that still, even after the Desmond Bane trade. 44.8% from the floor, and his true shooting was also really, really good. So he had 61% true shooting, plus 24.9 net rating offensively, and then at the rim, 60.4% percentage there. So he's really good offensively. He's got some stuff that he definitely needs to work on. I think that there's upside as far as his playmaking abilities are concerned, but he's not exactly that kind of dish it out first point guard. And hopefully his decision making and his consistency, like finishing, I think are like the modes that he needs to improve on. And I think if he does, he can be a very, very suitable NBA player. Obviously strengths include his three-point shooting. He's really good with his pull-up jumper, and he's really good in the pick and roll, and he can kind of just create on offense. And that, I think, is another thing why another reason why a lot of Magic fans kind of gravitate to what Walter Clayton Jr. is able to do, because he's able to really, really create offensively when there's not a ton. And then obviously, as I mentioned, there's some playmaking upside there, but he's got to improve that if we want kind of a guy who could be a true point guard, especially coming off the bench. And you pair it with some of the shooting, I definitely think that could be a real thing. Now, some of the weaknesses that I did just grab off the top here: solid passer, but has a tendency to turn the ball over more than you would like. As I mentioned, 2.5 turnovers per game. Has a high basketball IQ, but can make easily avoidable mistakes from time to time. Maybe we're nitpicking there a little bit. Is a bit small for a shooting guard, but is showing steady improvement as a floor general. I definitely think that is his struggle, and I think that that's why he's not sliding, because I think he's one of the late risers in this draft, but I think that is why he has a bit of a ceiling in this draft. How much are you able to invest in a guy that's plays like a combo guard, but he's not going to be a 2. He's not defending 2s on other teams in the NBA. He's not defending somebody who's 6'6". I don't really see that from him. I don't think we saw that from him in college. So he's defending 1s. So what is his ceiling? If depending on what team you are, how high are you willing to take him? I think that's what's keeping him, potentially out of the lottery or too high in the middle of the first round. Now, let's talk a little bit about that projection, because I think he fits with the Orlando Magic. I think they can make this work. It's not a perfect fit. It's not exactly what they might need. I mean, I definitely think front court scoring could be a way that they potentially go in the first, or like center, from the center position is a way that they would go in this first round. But exactly where is he getting mocked? Well, I did take a look at some of the mocks earlier this morning. This is post NBA Finals, so everything is set now. And this comes from ESPN, who's got him going to the Miami Heat. So he will not be there at the number 25 overall pick. He's not even really close. But this is what the ESPN article said about Walter Clayton Jr. Clayton has showcased his dynamic shot making and workouts and worked his way up boards in a first round that has shaped up somewhat light on point guard options. He has fans in front offices selecting higher than this, and he appears to be well positioned to potentially land inside the top 20. So I think that is where this the issue kind of arises, because there are some pretty decent fits for him outside of the Orlando Magic, because the Miami Heat might be in play here. The Memphis Grizzlies, who we just made a trade with, could be in play here. And then you have the Jazz and the Mavericks, depending on exactly, they're not going to take him wherever they are. But, he's got some other fits. He's got some other teams that might potentially be interested. And you have no idea what could come of this draft. So right now, the Miami Heat sitting right there could be a problem. The Memphis Grizzlies definitely could also be a problem. I don't really know if I see him going too much higher, or to any of the other teams that I mentioned also, right? They're way, way, way too high, but I don't really know if I see him going at the end of the lottery. But that middle area, I think, is extremely tough for him. And I did also take a look at some of the other mock drafts. I've seen Yahoo still consistently mock him to the Orlando Magic. I think there's maybe a connection there where Yahoo thinks that Walter Clayton Jr. is going to be the cup of tea for a lot of other teams, but for the Orlando Magic, it just works. So they still have him at 25. And then I took a look at one for Sports Illustrated this morning, which had the Orlando Magic taking him also at number 25. But they didn't have the updated Memphis Grizzlies pick, and this was posted this morning. So I'm not even really taking that too much into account. But I'm seeing it's either the Orlando Magic or it is or it's like 5 spots ahead. So I don't know if he's going to be available. I think the main issue is that he probably won't be available, but I think he fits. So who is another option? Because this video is waning down. Jace Richardson is another player that I have seen consistently. He's one of the higher ranked players on the ESPN big board compared to who's falling in the mid-20s consistently in these mock drafts, number 18 on ESPN's big board. His draft range starts at around number 16 with Memphis and then kind of goes for a couple of different teams all the way to the mid-20s. Jace Richardson would be the other guy that I think maybe potentially this Orlando Magic team decides to take. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about whether or not Walter Clayton Jr. is even going to be here at number 25. My gut instinct is he's not, but I think if he is, I think that the Orlando Magic definitely take him, and then they call it. I think that's been a pretty decent offseason. Then they're going to try to get some work done as far as filling out and making sure these rotation players are going to be good enough to make a run. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time with more Orlando Magic basketball content.